The stories and proved your faithfulness, and I've seen miracles my mind can't comprehend. There is beauty in what I can't understand. Jesus, it's you. Jesus, it's you. I've lived stories. I've lived stories that have proved your faith. Jesus, it's you. And I believe you're the wonder-working God. You're the wonder-working God. All the miracles I've seen, too good to not believe. You're the wonder-working God, and you heal because you love. All the miracles you'll see, too good to not believe. Too good to not believe. Well, I can't resurrect a man with my own hands, but just the mention of her name can raise the dead. So all the glory to the only one who can. Jesus, it's you. Jesus, it's you. And I believe you're the wonder
Good morning, everyone. Happy to see you once again. I hope that your Mother's Day was so splendid and wonderful. It kind of feels like it was so long ago, but it was last week, and it was great. So I hope that you all had a most wonderful time, too. And we got this weather, and it's here, and it's warm, and some of us think it's too hot, but a lot of people disagree with me. So I have one. Me and Aunt Carrie are always in sync. She's like, it's hot. Me too. But it's getting warm. It's starting to feel good, so I'm sure you're all feeling good, too. Okay. So we have such wonderful things coming with the weather. I do believe it's supposed to be 90 through Tuesday, so get your visors out and your sunglasses. We're ready for the toastiness. And a sunscreen. I got the palest child you've ever seen, so we got sunscreen on deck for this week. My other thing I was just thinking of, I was going ahead because we had Mother's Day, so now we can't forget that Father's Day is next, and we're exactly 4 weeks out from it. So keep that in the back of your mind if you haven't started thinking about your Etsy purchases for your fathers. Go ahead and get on that now. Some of us can make our own because we're very talented, but some of us have to do a little extra work. So we have that, and I believe a song is in the making. So I will let these guys take it away with a wonderful song.
too good to not believe. You know, if people don't believe, that's nothing on me. People don't have to believe if they don't want to. They've come far, far too late to tell me that there's no God, or he's not a miracle worker and he's not a healer. They've come far too late to influence me one little bit. I am glad that God has given me miracle healings, 4 or 5 in my lifetime. So when God does something for you, like that when you're just a boy, then when you get older and your faith grows, what people say in unbelief, well, it doesn't matter one bit to you. So, good song, Sean. Wow. I can get emotional on that. I've seen cancer disappear. I've seen metal plates dissolve. And I'm just reading through some of the lines here. I've seen families reunited. I've seen prodigals return. I've seen troubled souls delivered. I've seen addicts finally free. Don't you tell me he can't do it. Don't you tell me he can't do it. We'll see cities in revival and salvation flood the streets. We'll see glory fill the nations like the world has never seen. So, yeah, don't you tell me he can't do it. You're wasting your time, and I just want you to know I serve a big God. He's a tremendous God. He loves humanity. He sticks closer than a brother. He's a promise keeper. He's all I need. Praise God. He's all I need. Sean Middleton, I think you're going to bring the message this morning. So let's grow in the Word this morning.
Good morning, all. Morning. Love you too, Sarah. Good morning. I'm going ahead and get in my scripture if you don't mind, just to be ready and able, up and ready to go. God is just in the middle of everything, and if we acknowledge such, just like Richard trying to say there is, you think about it in our lives, and every day we wake up and it's a new day, and you have something that you're going to do that day, and you've been given life and breath, and I think about that a lot, is all of us wake up and then very quickly we have something we're dealing with. There's something that we're resolving, we're working through, and the point is there anything too big for God? And that's not this morning. I'm just kind of playing on Richard's comments there this morning in the song we just heard, and I don't know what you like to browse on social media. My favorite social media stuff I put in my feed are all these, the girls call me nerds, but I like it's all these technical things. And one of them, it was like the fastest, and some of it'll show the fastest jets. Is this what you guys all watch too, right? Same things. All right, see, I get it. In my world, it's the same. But this one, it was showing the fastest man-made crafts. And you might think, oh, the SR-71 Blackbird, that's fast. But nope, you know what the fastest man-made things are? It's the ones that are still streaking across the Milky Way on their way out of the solar system and all that. All those Pioneer and all those, they're the ones that are going tens or hundreds of thousands of miles an hour because they keep going. So the point is, I start thinking about that. And I'm like, man, that's amazing. And you think about everything and how it is fitly framed. And then I wake up in the morning and I assume God can't help me through my day. Isn't that interesting? Don't you tell me he can't do it. I mean, the one that's got all of that in his hands, and I do too. I've said this before, one of my main hallmarks of preaching for me, everybody can talk about what you need in your lives. Therapy for me is preparing and bringing God's word, because it's when God puts a big old bullseye on me and shows me what I need to work on. So there's that. Pre-sermon number 1, I guess you want to call it. Okay. All right. I still had a couple of things funny. You guys would really think it was weird if I didn't have something funny to start with. This week, I thought these were I've been in this mode of adventure and others and outdoorsy, and we're nice weather and people are getting active. So here's a couple of ones. A man visited his doctor, and the doctor checked him out before commenting, "It looks like you get a fair bit of exercise." The man replied, "Oh yeah, in fact, the other day I walked 5 miles over rugged terrain. I climbed over rocks and trees. I also waded along the edges of a lake, pushing my way through tall thistles, even slid down sandy slopes while getting sand in my eyes." The doctor was quite impressed. "Wow, you certainly are a dedicated outdoor enthusiast." And he said, "Nope, doctor, I'm just a really bad golfer." And if that's your golfing exercise, then you get out there and you kind of do that, and that's kind of how things work, right? Okay, here's a cute one. 2 little kids, little Johnny and his friend, are sitting by a campfire, experiencing the great outdoors. They've been inundated by mosquitoes. They're getting plagued. It's getting dark. They're getting worse. They're struggling as these fireflies or the mosquitoes are getting so big. Finally, little Johnny, he looks over, and fireflies, lightning bugs, start to appear out in the horizon. And one of the boys was kind of cheerful of that, but little Johnny was just even more dread. "Great, those darn mosquitoes, now they're bringing their lanterns so they can find us." Or cicadas, I don't know, whatever you want to interject there. But you know what? I should have done this before we started. Church this morning is a cicada-free zone. If you needed a motivation to go to church, then this is it. Cicada-free. Put the Ghostbusters sign on it. It's none of those beady eyes. Like, they're not here. But you are. We are. We're the church. So here's how we're gonna do something good for God, because he's good. This morning I want to talk to you, I want to talk to you about becoming love. This is an interesting thought and maybe discussion point for the time we have this morning. And yes, I had some motivation or inspiration thinking about, Mother's Day and now Father's Day, and, maybe many of you are mothers and fathers, but we all came from a mother and a father, so we all have some commonality in there, that we all have a premise to how you came to being and how you exist today. And yes, we talk about love, and it's just one of those construct ideas that you can say it, and we can kind of throw it out there. And I want to talk a little bit about love in respect to the marital union, only because when Christ came on the scene and he talked about coming back, he used the wedding analogy to describe what it looked like to create a covenant with you and I. And love is what encircles that. It's at the core of it. It's enveloping. Everything to do with our relationship with God is based on love. We can say God is love, and people overuse that. And in a way, in our society, we've gotten off track because people try to use God's inherent nature of love as almost like a license to do the wrong thing. It's like, well, God isn't mocked because whatever you sow, you reap. I mean, then there's the whole concept of sin for a reason, meaning we get off mark and God's love isn't gone, but we've now just created this issues for ourselves. But I want to come back to this concept of love, because and again, I know this is a funny joke, but I can ask the question and say, what is love? And immediately people are going, baby, don't hurt me. If you know that song. Now you're singing it, right? Okay. We're not just asking what is love. And I even like this as maybe a side title to this discussion. How do you and I become a magnet for love? And how do we become love such that we are lovable and able to give love? And I love, I'm a movie buff, and I bring that up a lot. the movie Fireproof, which is really, I love that movie, and I know it talked about a couple that had lost their way and trying to come back together. And again, it's a good framework to kind of show you and I the love we have for each other, for our parents, for our kids if we have them, but everybody in our lives, we have love at the core and the center of who we are, or it should be. And when we don't, there's something significantly missing, that's absent from us. And so yes, I want to kind of come back to this discussion, but I was reading kind of a case study on this couple, and they had been married about like 30 years, this couple, and I don't remember where they were from. And they were discussing some of obviously they were as opposite as could be, and opposites attracted in this case. They said Maria was the woman, described herself as stable and predictable. Bob admits he lived like he was a sponsor for Red Bull. And he was just, and yet the two of them found their way together. And what's interesting is there's several things that kind of came about as I was reading their excerpt and their kind of experience together. That in that time together, and either they were giving their first date, if you want to call it, a couple of dates. And Holly and I went on our first date, and lo and behold, she wasn't a super fan of seafood, but I took her to a seafood restaurant thinking she's going to be impressed with going out to a nice seafood restaurant, and she wasn't even thrilled with it, but she was like, this is great, what do you do on your first marriage? Well, this gentleman, who was very much an outdoor enthusiast and all this, he took his date rock climbing, and she wanted no part of it, but she was just like, oh, I love rock climbing, let's do this is going to be great. And so here's the interesting, and I'm just kind of giving you a bit of a premise. As these two are talking through meeting life's challenges where they are and finding their way, and then acknowledging what is love in the midst of everything. And we can say the word love, then we can define the word love, but it's easier to show you what love is or what it isn't. And so one of the things, I love this comment he made, years of experience in a married relationship, and he made the comment, love is not something you fall into, it's someone you become. And when I think about, and I'm going to obviously, the core of my whole being my relationship with my Heavenly Father, I have to acknowledge, how do I know how to give love or become love if I didn't first find an example of that from the one that created me? And back to I started saying the movie Fireproof, and I know it was about that married relationship, but I love the scene in that movie where the father's kind of getting on Kirk Cameron's character and saying, son, you didn't know how to really give yourself to your spouse in love because you didn't know what the Father's love for you was. How could you give something you don't even possess yourself? So I'm going to ask that question, what is love, or how do I become love in light of the Father's love for me? And I love this, perfect love. Like, wow. Like, what is perfect love? And what does that look like? And I might say in a married couple, it might look like this. One of the spouses struggling physically, mentally, and the other one taking care in the midst of that difficulty for years and not struggling or questioning with that, knowing that within them, love is more than something I fell into, like there's an accidental component to it, but it's something that I become or I choose. And that's why I don't like that phrase. And I know, married relationships, there's all kinds of discussion. And one of the first things written on a divorce statement, many people put irreconcilable differences or whatever, but they'll use that phrase, we just fell out of love, as if to say that on default, without keeping the train on its tracks, it falls off and it just derails, like without that continued effort. And people use that for a lot of basis. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is, how do I do that? And how do I give something if I don't even know what it really is for myself? And so trying to understand it, and I like this term, embody that. How do I embody what true love is in the midst of everything that we go through? How do I use what I've been through and my challenges? And again, the married relationship is just a good example of you've got two people that come together, and here we got weddings in our future. So I've been thinking about this a lot. And what is it? What makes that different? And if we're modeling marriage after the relationship with Christ with us. And there's a difference because there's a covenant relationship that God is like, I want to be exclusive with you. I don't want to share you with anyone. There are no other gods before me. I want to be the center occupancy of your heart. And I want you to see what love truly is, because no greater love than this, that a man would lay down his life for his friends. Is there any greater act of love I could show? You think about a soldier in war, and I'm picturing there's one of those movies that the platoon, the grenade comes flying into the building, and I can't remember even the name of that one. And what's he do? He launches himself onto that grenade and loses his own life, but saves his whole platoon. What is that? Love. What is it? Because I would rather take that bullet myself than sacrifice everyone else around me. And whether it's in a married relationship or even the relationships that we forge, your parents that you honor because of them bringing you into the world, or your siblings that you had to fight to get through life at a young age and find your way together with, that you being in the battle and being hardened through the trials and the challenges we go through. It's why we love those that are close to us, because we've been through something special together. And we choose that. I know we talked about this. I've talked about this with really all of my girls, and I know this has come up on multiple occasions. When it comes to the people, and this is something I would model to you, that I believe I've modeled after Christ. The people that I choose to love, they're not going to do something that's going to dissuade me from continuing to love. And as a picture of the Father, and somebody needs to hear this, that many people feel like because we've disappointed someone and they've turned their backs on us, and so in a sense we've gotten a warped picture of love because we thought that was love. When things get tough, people go the other direction. They're no longer there for you. But the Father said, I will never leave you or forsake you. In the midst of what you're going through is when I carry you. It's when I'm with you. You want to see what love is? I'll show up personally to be there for you, to find you a way where there seems to be no way. In the midst of a dark time. I told you, I've been stuck on the 23rd Psalm. I've been stuck on it. Though I'm going through that valley of the shadow of death. Why is the person not fearful? Or because there's an acknowledgement in that scene that even though everything's coming on me, the shadows are looming large in life, the difficulties I face, everything that I'm going through, but I shall fear no evil. Why? Because you're with me. I know what your rod and staff can do. It comforts me. I know you're the one that's preparing a table before me in the face of my enemies. To be rubbing it into my own enemies, saying, get a load of him. I love this one. And they're with me. I am mine and I am theirs. We have a bond that the rest of you may not quite grasp. And as a result, there's something special going on. So what is it? What is it about? It's our view, our broken view from mankind of being disappointed and being frustrated and being hurt that we even start questioning his love, as if his love isn't perfect anymore because we've seen imperfect love. We've seen it demonstrated. We've seen it shown. We've seen the people around us hurt us, right? I mean, an enemy can hurt you, but the people closest to you wound the deepest, right? It's those wounds that fester and are most frustrating to us. And I like this too. There's so many scriptures. I've got a lot in this in my backing here. But simple message of the gospel that what happens with Christ, 2 Corinthians 5:17, that becoming a new creation, there's a change that happens to us when what actually is happening is we're exchanging our broken view of love and instead accepting the Father's pure love, pure, peaceable, True love, perfect love, casts out fear. Perfect love casts out fear. So when I'm talking about the okay, so here's what I wanted to read. I wanted to go through this, and this in light of Weddings Central coming up. I've been thinking about this a lot. So if you want to turn with me, we're going to go to the love chapter, 1 Corinthians 13. This gets read a lot at weddings. Even people that may not go to church will say, "Oh yeah, that's that love chapter. We got to have that in the wedding. That's a good one. We should talk about that." But and here's another. I had a note here, just kind of funny note, talking about love. Why is the concept of love so challenging, especially for people in entering into a relationship where you're trying to forge connectivity, especially a new couple that's dating? And I'm take it back, and the younger people won't know Happy Days, the TV show, but Fonzie's character, and I met Fonzie a couple of years ago. What a neat guy, for one, just a super guy. But I met him at this conference, actually. Got a picture with him, and I can prove it to you. But Fonzie, if you remember in the Happy Days, his character, Henry Winkler, his character, when he was dating someone, do you remember this part about him? He couldn't say the word love. So it's like he didn't want to commit. So it's like once you said love, it's almost like I've committed, and I want to be the party guy. I don't want to commit to one woman. But he'd be like, like he couldn't get the word out. He couldn't say it because it's like, oh, once I say it, I've admitted it. And we can laugh about that. But the love that God has shown to us and is showing us as an example for us to then have for others, love for the brethren, love for each other, is something so deep that there's no questioning that. There's no searching your heart to decide, do you really love someone? It's, I know I love them. Why? Because I'm willing to sacrifice for them. I'm willing to put their needs above mine. So let's do the 1 Corinthians 13 chapter. I thought it would be fun to let's read it this morning. I love expositionally reading the Bible anyway. We're starting right at the beginning of 13. Though I speak with the tongues of men and angels, but have not love, I have become a sounding brass or a clanging cymbal. The King James says tingling, And right there out of the gate, that's such an interesting point to say, I can speak a lot of stuff, but if I don't have love in my heart, it's like my words are, I don't know, it's almost like, what's the character in the Snoopy character? They couldn't ever speak words, and they were just kind of, they're just speaking stuff that doesn't mean anything. It's unintelligible, and we don't know what they're saying, and it doesn't have any impact. My life without having love or passion for what I do, or caring about what I'm speaking about, or those I'm speaking to, it's like my words are like, you might as well be speaking to the Peanuts group. So let's keep going. Verse 2. And though I have the gift of prophecy, even further development, and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith, so that I could remove mountains, but have not love, what? It's useless on its own merit without having the core of you understanding, becoming love, and knowing what true love is. Keep going. And though I bestow, he just keeps going here. Though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, though I give my body to be burned and have not love, it profits me nothing. Then we go into this definition phase. But Paul set the stage here. First off, he was like, if you don't have the goods down deep, if you don't have the love of the Father in you so that you know what love really is, how do you ever give it out? And do my words really mean the same have you ever been talking with someone and you know they could care less about you, and they're trying to tell you something as if they care, and what are you like? Okay, yeah, whatever. Right? Can you see right through that? Most people can, especially kids. Kids are my favorite. Don't try to get something across to a kid without really caring about the kid, or just, you've seen it in movies, but you could be around kids all the time. And what do kids do? Their eyes are rolling. They're like, whatever. This person could care less about me, and I know it. They don't have love for me. Why did the kids throng Jesus? They could see that. They could see right to the heart. They didn't have the filter many of us adults have put up, and we even convince ourselves many times of what we are. Oh yeah, kids love me. Like, do they? If you don't have love, Lexi works with kids. Those of you that work with kids know it. Kids see right through your facade. You can convince yourself of whatever, but if you don't, she gets it too, right? You can't put on airs with kids. They know it. And you can think you're convincing them. And if you think you're convincing adults, you really aren't. Adults see through it too, right? How many people do you see through it? So my point is this. I want God's definition of love in me, because then I'll truly know how to love others around me that need my love, that need my care, that need my protection. If I could give you a picture of love, what would love for me look like with my family? You talk about my girls and now grandbaby. I would gladly trade my life for any one of them. Why? That's what love means to me. I'm going to make sure they are protected, taken care of. Somebody come in to want to harm one of them. Oh, you got another thing coming. I'll fight to the death. It isn't even a struggle for me. Why? Because love compels me, not because of some wrong motive or predisposition to something going the wrong direction. It's because the Father's love is perfect, and perfect love casts out fear. So anyway, keep going. Okay, I got a few minutes. All right, here we go. So now the definitions of love, starting verse 4. Love suffers long, is kind. Love does not envy. Love does not parade itself, is not puffed up, does not behave rudely, does not seek its own, is not provoked, thinks no evil, does not rejoice in iniquity, but rejoices in the truth. And then there's this, so there's that. It's like, that's a tall order, but when I understand love, it means that even when I think I need my way, like I said, a married relationship is a good thing to showcase this with, but it's in any relationship you have. I may want my way. I may do my own thing. I want to be rude at times. I want to be angry at times. I want to get off my chest. But true love doesn't rejoice in iniquity, rejoices in the truth. It suffers long with those that I love. I'm patient with those I love, because if I die for them, why would I want to tear them apart every chance I get? That's not love. Anyway, let me keep going. So then the definitions in here in 7 again. What else does love do? Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never fails. Love never fails. I could fail. Those around me can fail me. But true love, perfect love, never fails. Always. So whether there are prophecies, they will fail. Whether there are tongues, they will cease. Whether there's knowledge, it will vanish away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when that which is perfect has come, then that which is in part will be done away. And this is kind of fun. He says, when I was a child, I spoke like a child, I understood like a child, thought like a child. But when I became a man, Paul talking, or woman, I put away childish things. And so, anyway, great. This is such a good chapter. And I know we read this at weddings, and it's like, oh, it sounds great. But putting that in practice is different, because it's hard. This isn't easy. I want to tear that one apart. I don't want to show them love. But the point is, the world will show them angst and anger and everything else. I only have one chance to do this life. Let me say that again for more than impact. I only have one chance to do this life. And I only have so many moments, and I only have so much time. Time is finite. I only have so much ability to do what I do, and to be with those that I love, and to show them love. And so what do? I should become a magnet for God's love. I should live my life in such a way so that when I understand what true love is from the Father, I can freely give. What He has given freely, I should be willing to freely give. So, okay, I have to go right to my conclusion, because why? Because I went all the way through all these pieces. So here's what I want to do. Yes, I do. I want to go right to my final piece. Now, listen to this one. John 13:34. We're going right to Jesus part. Because I had other examples from the Bible. I could have given you other Bible character stories because there's plenty of them that give great pieces. But Jesus himself gave us the purest picture of what love could be. Actually, let me back up to John 13:35. By this, all people will know that you are my disciples. Why? If you have love for one another. They'll know you're a Christian because of your love, not because of your hate or your judgment or anything else that comes out of you that's contrary to what God's nature is. So then how do I do that? Even in 34, John 13:34. A new commandment I give you, that you love one another just as I have loved you. You also are to love one another. So, I'll do this. And when I was talking about those pictures of love, now go to the cross. And what did Jesus say? What was the example Jesus set for us on the cross? Took the shame, all those things, all those angst. And what did the picture of love look like on the cross? Not just going to the cross, but on the cross. Luke 23:34 says, Jesus said, Father, forgive them. They don't even know what they're doing. Could we do that? I mean, folks, I'm up here preaching, and I know this is hard. How do I forgive those that have wronged and hurt me? How do I embody love, become love, unless I allow his perfect love to cast out fear and allow me to be bold? And I think somewhere in that we got to acknowledge, if you want to love like Christ, and you want to see that love from him, you've got to love boldly. You've got to be bold in your marriages, in your relationships, in the situations that you care about people. You've got to be bold, and it's an active. Love is an action. It's an action verb, but it's an active participant kind of effort. I don't choose, if I fall out of love, it's because I chose to go there. I chose that direction. Just like I'm choosing to love those that I care about, that are special to me. And it's easy for me to do that because I know the love of the Father. When I grasp, no greater love has a man than this, that he would lay down his life for his friends. You and I are his friends. Not just a friend on Facebook. I got 300 friends. Well, they're on Facebook. How many friends do you really have? Does anybody even have two or one close friend in this life? That's hard to come by, isn't it? Somebody that you can share everything with, that you can bare your soul with, that will allow you to be vulnerable with them so they can be vulnerable back and it be safe. And when that gets broken down, it tears that up. That you lose that, and it feels lonely then. And we've got to acknowledge then somewhere in us that if I want to have more of that, I've got to first do that with the one that I can open my soul to and acknowledge his perfect love in order to cast out what he has for me. So what should we do about that? Ephesians 5:2 says, walk in love as Christ loved us and gave himself for us. We've got to put what he has at an early premise for us at the first place in life and let everything else fall in place from that. Lord, we'll give him the praise and the glory. He's the ultimate love. That was John 15:13. Greater love that has no man than this, that he would lay down his life for his friends. Pray with me then this morning. Lord, I just thank you for your goodness and your blessing. Lord, there's so much, and your word is rich, and there are so many that feel unloved. I mean, our hearts can go out to young people especially that we know don't feel loved, and it makes you just want to scoop them up. But Lord, there are times in this life that we really need you to scoop us up, just like we would a willing child that's just raising their hands. And we may want that from our spouses and our friends and family and others, and we want to be love so that we can show love to those around us. We want to do that as we walk into our married relationships. We want to be able to embody what you've shown us there in 1 Corinthians 13. But we can't even do that well until we first know that you love us, that you care for us, that you've died for us, that you've put all things in a right place, and that your love is perfect. And if we can get a sense of that perfect love, then perhaps we can give a piece of that away to everyone around us. And this world will truly be a better place to be in if we can do that. We give you all the praise, Lord, for all of it. In Jesus' precious name, amen.